It has been almost 6 months since Rising Rajasthan Global Investment Summit 2024 took place, one of the very big, highly appreciated investment summits. And we have the man who was behind that idea and the execution, Shri Ajitabh Sharma, IAS, and the Principal Secretary, Industries and Chairman, Rico. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And I remember talking to him at the start of the summit, and it's been 6 months, as I said. So now we want to come to a point where we want to talk a little bit about the success that has ushered during that summit. So please tell me, what has been the current status of these MoUs that were signed during the summit and the actual groundwork by investors? What is the status on that front right now?
First of all, thanks a lot for bringing the voice of the government of Rajasthan to all the audiences and the stakeholder. And the last time we had met, I think that was a great conversation, and it created a lot of buzz among the business community, particularly through your magazine and the interview which you posted on several social media platforms. So, coming to the point, 9th, 10th and 11th of December 2024, that was the highlight and culmination of the Rising Rajasthan Global Investment Summit. And as you are aware that the Honorable Prime Minister was present in the inaugural event of the summit on 9th of December. In the period of we launched the summit dates in the month of August 2024, though the preparations had started a few months before even August 2024, because the Honorable Chief Minister in the very beginning of the financial year 2024 had announced that he'll be holding a mega investment summit in the very first year of the government. And the success of the summit has been benchmarked by the business community and the media in one single parameter, that Rajasthan had been able to exchange the MoUs worth rupees 35 lakh crores. That is quite a humongous number in terms of the other investment summits which have been happening across the country in different states. And another highlight is that, though the majority of the MoUs which were exchanged were in the energy sector, though I would like to clarify here that it is not only in the generation like solar generation or wind power generation MoUs. We have received quite a good number of MoUs in the energy sector which are in pumped hydro storage, which are related to battery manufacturing, which are related to renewable energy component manufacturing, which are related to solar wafers and cells manufacturing, not only the assembly of the solar modules. So that way, our key sector certainly has been the energy sector. Though, it is not only about the higher solar insolation which we have in Western Rajasthan, because apart from that, a lot of MoUs have been exchanged with the central government public sector undertakings also, like PGCIL and Satluj Board and TERI Board and NTPC and NHPC. So that is another highlight, and a lot of these central government public sector undertakings are coming under in the areas where infrastructure investment, the huge capex is involved, like in transmission systems, apart from generation and battery storage systems and pumped hydro storage also. There are few CPSUs. So the success in terms of exchange of MoUs, which normally we call the signing of the MoUs, has been the energy sector, which involves generation, storage, transmission networks, pumped hydro storage, battery storage, and apart from that, there are few MoUs which are related to the load balancing activities also, like placing up of IT systems and smart metering. So that is one aspect. And now, apart from energy sector, we have received good investment intents in the auto sector, in the electric vehicle sector, in the IT sector. Tourism, we have received a lot of good number of MOUs. In the agri sector, not only in agri processing, but there are quite a few innovative projects in the agriculture sector, also apart from agro and food processing, which have been received by the agriculture department. Then in medical education sector, we have received quite a good number of MOUs for setting up of medical colleges and universities, and same in higher technical education as well. Even like in animal husbandry sector, we have received a few MOUs where the businesses are wanting to set up R&D sectors for like animal related health issues and vaccines and other medicines which can be like produced here in the state of Rajasthan, aligning with the efforts being done by the animal husbandry universities, related universities which are here in Rajasthan. So I think it is multi-sectoral. It's not only that in the energy sector we have received the MOUs. And the second part of the question, I think, was related to the grounding of the MOUs. So like in the valedictory session, which was on the last day of the summit, that is 11th of December 2024, the Honorable Chief Minister from the stage had announced that, because since was the first year of the government, and mostly the history is like that, the previous summits were somewhere either in the fag end of the second last year or in the last year of the government. So not only the business community but media also has been always questioning that, is government actually serious about like exchanging the MOUs and then bringing them on ground? So that the basic idea of the Honorable Chief Minister of organizing this summit in the very first year was that, and as what he had announced on 11th of December was that, immediately after this summit, so exactly after 2 years, there would be another summit that would be Rising Rajasthan Global Investment Summit 2026. And in the middle of these two investment summits, that is in December 2025, the current year, right, there would be an event where the state government would be laying out the performance, the efforts and the achievements and the actions taken on the investment intents which we had received. So right from day one, that is 11th December 2024, and our event is being scheduled for 11th and 12th of December 2025. We had that thing in mind that the whole of the government, all departments, not only the industries department, have to now work very hard in actually realizing these MOUs in terms of the true capital investment which is made on ground. So since very beginning we had this thing in mind, and a broad roadmap was clear in the mind of the Honorable Chief Minister, our Chief Secretary and other senior officers of the department, and the Industries Department, which is the major fulcrum which is like steering this whole event. So the mandate which was given to us was that within 3 months, that is the first quarter, there would be an event by the name of Rising Rajasthan Impact 1.0, which we organized in the end of March of the current year. And we'll be showcasing like to the business community, to media, to people of the state and the other investors who had been sitting on the fence and not taking the decision that whether to invest in the state of Rajasthan or not. We'll be showcasing them also that what the government says and means it actually tries to deliver. So in that event which we organized, it was again a huge gathering, and we could showcase the grounding of MOUs worth around 3.08 lakh crores. So that is a huge amount, and that is a huge achievement and success in terms of what we have been able to deliver in the past in the state of Rajasthan. And the showcasing was not merely by divulging the figures in the speeches, adopted quite an innovative act of making, say, like a 4 or 5 minutes of video shoot where we captured like more than 1,000 photographs of those sites, what exactly the work is happening in all of the districts of the state. Like at some place, how the leveling of the land has started, or the erection of the shed has started, or the machines have been started to be fixed up in the industrial area, or if there were certain MoUs which are related to service sector, like how the people have already started setting up their offices, and in certain MoUs like in the tourism sector, that people have actually got hold of the land. Their land was converted from agriculture to for the hotel purpose, and the construction had started. And in the energy sector, we had taken the photographs where the actual erection of the like solar panels had started. So that was a sort of evidence which we gave in that public meeting, and the media was also present. It was quite appreciated, and we had displayed all the photographs as a part of the evidence that 3.08 lakh crores of MoUs have been actually implemented. That was part A of the event. And part B, because the Honorable CM is again abundantly clear that we have to be very truthful in showcasing what we are doing. So, like, it should not be like that we should be exaggerating our achievements, or trying to present the things in the manner in which actually they are not. So the part B was, apart from this part A, in that event we invited the select investors also, and there was sharing of experiences, like how they had felt interacting with different departments, and was there sufficient support at the higher level from the secretaries of the department, and how had been their experience interacting with the district collectors or the other field officers of the line departments. And there was certainly it was a kind of mixed response in few cases, where the investors had also highlighted some of the troubles and hiccups and obstacles which they had faced, and they all were noted, and we are trying to work out the changes in our business processes, that how if any reforms are needed or any modifications in rules and procedures are needed, we are working on that. And these investors were, apart from everything, they were felicitated by giving a sort of certificate in form of a plaque, that we are very thankful to you for considering Rajasthan as one of your investment destinations. So in a way, we honored them as well. So that was the whole idea. And now, that was in the month of March. Now we are sitting somewhere in the middle of month of June. So first, in the very first week after the organizing of the Rising Rajasthan Global Investment Summit, we laid out a 3-layered structure for the monitoring of implementation of MoUs. So one part of is that the Honorable Chief Minister himself is reviewing the implementation of MoUs every month. And that date is also fixed, it happens on the 11th of every month. So 11 December 2024, every the closing month of the summit by holding the valedictory event. So every month, 11th is the date. And if that is a holiday, then it comes on the next working day. So on 11th of June, there was a review meeting. So that is the kind of seriousness which the Honorable Chief Minister is giving to this whole idea. And in those meetings, we try to, all departments try to get their issues, what are the problems in implementing the MoUs, what is needed from other departments, what are the issues related to coordination, and the Chief Secretary is also present in that meeting, and all other senior officers. So then and there, Honorable Chief Minister would give the directions that who is responsible for what tasks. If there are interdepartmental issues, then normally the CS, which takes the review meeting every fortnight. So like the Honorable CM is doing it on monthly basis, then CS is doing it on the fortnightly basis. So in those meetings, those interdepartmental issues would be discussed, and then call would be taken that can those issues be resolved within the existing framework, or if there is any modification or changes in the policies, rules or orders is needed, then we have to go ahead with it. And the progress of the directions given in the last meeting are reviewed by the Honorable Chief Minister in the next meeting. I think that system is working quite well, and we have been able to reach to another good number. So I will not be able to disclose that number because that prerogative lies to the Honorable Chief Minister, but I think we are doing a good progress.
Right. Now, thanks for sharing the comprehensive picture of the state of affairs post investment. What steps are being taken to ensure a seamless land allotment process for investors, and how does the government plan to overcome challenges, if any, related to land acquisition?
Traditionally, there had been some issues, I would be frank, in the state of Rajasthan in terms of allotment and allocation of land. So this thing was already in mind of the government, that the major first obstacle which stops a head start for the investor in starting his investment or business activities in any state is the land related issues, so which comes in different forms. So either it is like allotment of government land, or maybe at times it would be the land is owned by the investor. He might have purchased private land, then he approaches the government departments for like conversion of land. In certain cases it would be like the change of land use if it is needed. And then there are certain cases where, because of the circumstantial location of the land, like its proximity to the eco-sensitive zone or to the forest area or to the water bodies, so in such cases NOCs are needed by the investor. So there is a wide spectrum of land related issues, and then would come the approval of the building plans or layout plans. Even if the land title is clear and it has been converted, those issues also take quite a lot of time. So the first point regarding land allotment, so there are different agencies, like one is RICO, which I chair, so State Industrial and Investment Development Corporation. So we develop the industrial areas, and then we have a set system of allotment of land. Then second part is the revenue land, which is the government land, which is handled by the revenue department and the district collectors in the field. And then there is UDH department, which is mostly like dealing with the urban land, UDH and LSG, local self government department. And then there are other development authorities spread out across the state. So coming to the first point of RICO, we in RICO have like completely overhauled our land allotment policy post Rising Rajasthan. So initially it used to be like that the land would be allotted only through the procedure of auction. And in that methodology, there were a lot of complaints that normally the real estate dealers are participating and the actual industrialist is not able to get the land, and people who have invest money but actually who are not into manufacturing, production and industrial activities, they would hold the land, the prices would escalate, they would then dispose the land, make capital gains and then move out, but the land is stuck for that particular period. So what we did was that in all of our industrial areas where less than 80% of the land area has been disposed, so we have done away with the procedure of allotment of land by auction. So now there is a direct land allotment policy in place. There what we do is that the land parcels which are available to us, we have put them online digitally along with GIS locations. So, and then we organize rounds of allotment processes under the direct land allotment policy. Any investor can go, he can prioritize his district area, industrial park, select the plot, and then put his application online only. So if there is only single application, the prices are fixed. So there is a committee in RICO which fixes those land prices. So if there is only single application, that land automatically gets allotted to the applicant through the online portal only. If there are multiple applications, the price of the land remains same. So there would be then the playing of the lots. Then there would be lottery. If there are like 4 applicants, then there would be lottery among the 4 applicants, and whoever wins the lottery, the plot would be allotted to that applicant. And the left out or the remaining applicants, then they can choose another plot in the second round or the third or fourth subsequent rounds. So that is one major change which we have done, and so far under this process we have been able to sell land parcels worth more than 1000 crore rupees. So within 3 months we have sold the land which we normally like take around 12 months to reach to that figure. And in the saturated areas, like where more than 80% of the land plots have already been allotted, we are still ongoing with our auction process.
Right.
The reason is that because ultimately RICO is a commercial organization. So you need to be making money at some points in some locations so that you can invest in other areas and develop new areas. So in those 20% which are saturated, like the areas in proximity to NCR and the new national expressways, and which have got a very high level of infrastructure connectivity, and where there is a lot of pressure on land, there we are continuing with the process of auction. And apart from RICO, when it comes to revenue land, there was a meeting yesterday also, and few more meetings have been held before. So the major challenge was allotting huge tracts of land to the renewable energy projects, because there the land is allotted, so like to the tune of, it is not like 3 biga, 4 biga, then it goes something like 1000 biga, 2000 bigas. So that had been a major challenge, but very successfully the state government has been able to dispose of the first lot of good number of land allotment in the renewable energy project in western part of Rajasthan. That is a big achievement. Coming to the smaller size investments and businesses for allotment of revenue land. So we are in process of making some modifications in our allotment rules. I think soon they will be out, because in those cases we still have a feeling that the investor has to like route through number of channels. First, the identification of land becomes little bit difficult for the small investor, like where to go, where the revenue land is available. Though the revenue maps and records are digitized, but as you are also aware that the actual position of revenue land is not what the record says. Like there would be sometimes encroachments, or some new road would have come up, or like some another establishment would have come up, and then there is like delimitation of urban areas or extension of Abadi areas also going on. So there this problem is there as far as the small investors are concerned, but we have started a process, and for 18 districts we have already created land banks for industrial allotment of revenue lands. So the idea of creating these land banks is that the district collectors have identified the unencumbered allotable revenue land. So there are no issues or strings attached. In a way, it is a clean land. So it can be right away allotted to the investor. So that we have already done for 18 districts. For the remaining district, the work is going on, and in the 11th June meeting, the Honorable Chief Minister has instructed the Revenue Department to speed up this work and complete it for all the districts. And in urban areas also, we are coming out with a new policy in terms of how the land would be allotted to the investors who have exchanged the MoUs with the state government, because in urban areas, one first thing is that land is very short, because a lot of business and economic and developmental activities are coming up, and the claimants on one particular piece of land, the number is very high. And particularly the MoUs which are like in tourism sector or other service sectors like data centers and IT related, and so they want lot of discount also in urban areas, because in urban areas the prices have shot up in last like a decade or so because of the shortage of land, which is well connected with like roads and electricity and water supply and other civic amenities which are needed for general living. So in the new policy which has been proposed, so as I am aware, the urban development department is trying to lay out a structure for granting of concessions also in the land prices on case to case and merit basis of the MOU exchanges. So these are some of the like areas where we are working. And apart from that, how the land use change would happen, the regular meetings have to be held, and land conversion cases, they have to be sped up, and the file should not be tossing from one office to another. That is another area where we are working on.
So how are you planning to ensure equal industrial and economic growth across different districts, since the investment is huge, and we see a lot of MOUs already being implemented?
Like, see, there was a meeting yesterday taken by the Chief Secretary on these land and investment related issues. So the first point is that any investor or the business house which is making a decision of like coming out with the new investment at any place for business growth, or when they are looking for new business opportunities.
Right.
So there are n number of factors which they take care of, like the proximity of the market. So like certain manufacturers would like to always locate themselves very close to the market. If their logistics cost, that is transportation cost, is very high, so they would like, and if it is an export oriented unit, then they would like try to locate themselves close to the container depots or to the ports or to the places where the shipping lines are at works for carrying the containers till the port for exports. And like if there is a proposal in the IT sector, then their workforce would always like to enjoy the city life. They would not go to some remote place. They would be wanting some recreation facilities, cinema theaters, and like good restaurants. And so each investment has its own requirement, like in terms of the availability of the market, from where the skilled and unskilled workforce would be hired, where they would be wanting to stay, then like where is the raw material or other inputs for that industry or service sector is coming from. And apart from that, the locations where how the factor of cost of production is impacting. So that one is like the initial land cost. Second is the power tariffs. So when businesses talk about the power tariff structure, they always say that the power charges are slightly higher in Rajasthan as compared to other states. Then transportation, logistics, and then the connectivity with the roads. These are the major areas. So like if you say that some semi-conductor manufacturing unit, if it has to like come somewhere in Banswara, it would be very difficult. So if you say if it has to come somewhere in Bhiwadi or like in close proximity of NCR, it would be little bit easier for them to take the call. So that becomes a major challenge when we talk about creating a sort of geographical equity in industrial development and growth. That has always been a challenge. And so what the state of Rajasthan has done is that, like, while deciding our customized projects, number one, under the investment promotion scheme, and then there are few other provisions in our different investment schemes. So there we take care of, like, filling this gap of business by viability when it comes to the areas where infrastructure is slightly weak, or cost of doing business is slightly more, or so those incentives comes in different forms. They come in form of wage employment subsidy and interest subsidy and the turnover based incentives. If so, then there are, like, capital incentives in form of capital subsidy also, the upfront incentive which the state government provides to those business houses. So that is one idea. So, like, skewing our incentive structure. So that is what the state of Rajasthan has been able to successfully do. One, two, then how to, like, leverage your natural resources. So, like, there are certain areas which might be otherwise backward but rich in natural resources. So, like, I will give you an example, like the western part of Rajasthan, though now these renewable energy, a lot of renewable energy projects have come up. So, cement grade limestone. So, the deposits are quite huge, like in Jaisalmer. But because of lack of infrastructure, roads and electricity lines and the availability of skilled or even semi-skilled manpower, that was quite a challenge. And since, like, cement is a heavy transportation cost product, so, like, manufacturing cement there and then taking it to the market, like somewhere in the central part of Rajasthan or other parts of northern India, then it imposes quite a cost. So the government was very, cognizant of this particular challenge, but reserves are there which should be exploited. So certain cases were incentive cases in form of customized packages were sanctioned there to tackle that particular issue. And now the investors have started showing keen interest, and few of the plants have also, like, started coming up. Same is with availability of water. In certain areas, we have acute shortage of water, but in other river basins, which are surplus river basins, ample water is available. So, trying to locate the water intensive industries in those few districts where surplus water is available. Like now, our this river interlinking for utilization of surplus Chambal water by the name of PKC, ERCP, which is coming up. So the whole alignment through number of districts it passes, we have got the water reservation done from that irrigation and drinking water project for industrial areas as well. So we are trying to locate our industrial pockets along that alignment also. So those are the areas where some of the areas where very few industries are located. So, like, that is another strategy. Right. And apart from that, we try to, like, engage with the industry associations, local industry associations and other, like, people who have been doing businesses for quite some time, like particularly like in the mining sector, when normally they extract the resource and carry it somewhere else for processing and further value addition. So we are exploring the possibilities, like, for creating ceramic hub, if it is possible to make the value add then and there. So I think these are some of the initiatives where the challenge of creating geographical equity in terms of industrial development and prosperity can be.
Tourism is one of the main sectors, which Rajasthan is very well known for. Could you highlight some of the major projects in this, sector, some of the major investments that it has attracted, and what is the status on that front?
Okay, so number one is that you are aware that Rajasthan is becoming one of the major wedding destination.
Absolutely.
Not only of the country, but
Globally.
whole of the world. Like
I think Udaipur and all, they're
Udaipur
always
and,
in news.
and when we talk about destination weddings, lot of hotels and resorts have come in and around Jaipur and like Udaipur, and even if you go to Pushkar, I think that is a major change which is coming up. And I have been attending like few of the marriages. So when we are invited and when we go there, though I belong to Jaipur, I myself am surprised that such huge properties have come up at such places also. And there would be like throng of people who would be coming from Delhi or sometimes Mumbai or like Noida or other places of like Uttar Pradesh and Haryana and Chandigarh, and those families would be staying there for 5, 6, 7 days and using that property and actually having fun. And that brings a lot of tourism to our tourist locations also. It is not like that. Most of them are then extending their stay for a day or two
Circulate,
and moving around to other tourist locations. So that is generating a lot of economy to the state. So there is focus on this aspect in terms of like land use change, land conversion, the hotel projects which are coming up. And in that figure of 3.08 lakh crores, there are quite a good number of hotel projects which have already been grounded, like in Jaipur and Udaipur. And our Jaipur Development Authority and other development authorities in the state are actively working upon identifying such parcels where the good hotels and resorts can come up. And even RECO, though we are more into industrial development, but the next phase of auctions which is coming up, our industrial areas which are very close to the big urban habitations. So now we are also auctioning land for hotel purposes. So that is one aspect. And second is the government has announced its tourism unit policy of late, and where there is a very clear-cut provision that all such tourism sector related projects and the MoUs which have been exchanged, which are investment worth more than 100 crore rupees, government would be allotting land to them. So before that, the idea was that the investor should be buying his or her own land, like private khatedari land, then getting it converted, and then setting up his investment venture there. But now there is a provision that even government would allot the land, provided the investment is more than 100 crore rupees in the sector. So that is, I think, another major change which we have brought in. And third aspect is that if you read our budget document of the current government, so in those budget documents there is a very strong emphasis on providing connected infrastructure and facilities to our tourist destinations. Like, may you go to Udaipur, then maybe Pushkar, or there are other temples, and then wildlife tourism like these tiger reserves and leopard sanctuary. Then if you go to Javai, so like a lot of investment is coming up in laying of electricity lines and roads and creating other basic facilities for the tourists, for the visitors. That is another area where we are working, like creation of panoramas and to the historical sites and monuments, and then audio-visual facilities and light and sound show. So when you read those budget documents, you will find a lot of small interventions at number of locations. So like it is creating a sort of ecosystem where the investor feels more confident and encouraged in making new investments in the state of Rajasthan in the tourism sector.
Right. My final question is about that you have a huge task if we look at the commitments from the 2024 summit. But what are Rajasthan's next big investment priorities beyond that at the moment?
Okay, so the event in the middle of two global investment summits, 24 and 26, which is on 11th and 12th of December 2025, to showcase our achievements. So we have calling that event Rising Rajasthan Partnership Conclave.
Okay.
So it is a conclave, those two are summits. And the theme is ideas and impact. So now in this conclave in December 2025, our major focus is now to offer to the investor community what government is wanting from your side to partner with us, so that you can bring in capital, you can bring in your expertise, you can bring in your experience and knowledge and your forte. So you can bring in the good name and credibility which you have among the lenders, the banks, the financial institutions who are ready to lend you, and partner with us in a set of projects. So certainly other states have already done that, but we are trying to give it a different flavor, which we normally call investable projects. So in different sectors, we are identifying that what are the areas where, actually, because this whole idea has come up from the point that the major challenge in fighting with this problem of unemployment and prosperity and poverty is that enough capital investment is not happening. So government is trying on its part to raise the level of capex in terms of infrastructure projects like roads, bridges, and in the agriculture sector and energy sector. But then there is a limit to it. But when it comes to the private sector in increasing their capex, which we call investment, so private sector has to partner with the government when it comes to the prosperity of the state. So though they have their own business interests, they have their own business plans, in what direction the growth, organic or inorganic, has to happen for that particular industry or business house. But is there a possibility or opportunity for both the government
Synergy.
and the private sector to partner and then increase the capex? Ultimately, the gross value added in terms of capital investment has to increase in the state. So one example is like that: if Rajasthan is a mineral-rich state, a lot of minerals are mined and extracted. They are taken to some other place where the value gets added. So majority of the employment is happening there. So majority of addition to the economy or GDP is happening there, and majority of the other spin-off benefits of setting up of that unit is happening in that particular location. So the gross value added has to happen within Rajasthan. So the capital expenditure has to come here only. So in investable projects, what we are doing is that in all sectors, in all major sectors like water, drinking water, irrigation, energy, mining, medical, IT, then higher education, then your technical education, and for that matter in some of the social sectors also. We are identifying 3-4 projects where we will be sort of providing information to the private partner in terms of the business viability of that project, basic framework and figures that how much investment is needed, what is the location, what all sorts of clearance would be needed, how government would be supporting, what would be the approximate your internal rate of return on that project, the return on capital if you think of making an investment, what are the future revenue streams in that project, what would be the rough break-even point or payback period for that project. So those investable projects would be giving a very good first bird's eye view about the business and financial viability of that whole idea. So in the partnership conclave, we will be posing those projects, we will be presenting to the business community in those particular sectors. And if they are interested, then the process of bidding and RFP and grant of work would be happening. So that is one area. Another area is the partnerships in form of like engaging with the government in the knowledge sector when it comes to like R&D and artificial intelligence and like now generative AI, and how these new technologies or deep tech can be used in government functioning to make it more efficient and effective in already existing functions, or maybe if new things can come up. Andhra and like Telangana and to some extent Karnataka are trying a lot of good things. So I think we will try to carry forward those ideas and try to do them in a better manner. So that is another aspect of partnership which we are looking for in that partnership conclave, and certainly partnership for implementing and grounding of MoUs and the core investment projects, that would also be part of the conclave.
Thank you, Sri Ajitabh Sharma ji, for taking us through, the success. I mean, we can see that clearly a lot of success is on ground, and we're looking forward to the 2025 summit that you're hosting. And thanks once again for making time and sharing the details with us. Yeah.
Thank you.